too complex. And the complexity of our world has also been complicated by some wicked problems. But in the midst of all of this, we must realize that all of the issues that we face, from terrorism to pandemics to climatic issues and political issues, are all consequences of our choices and decisions, both as a people and a society. And the truth is, the problem in every generation belongs to people in that generation. And the world only moves forward as individuals rise up to take responsibility for the problems they meet in society. Now, this is what we do at every Session Leadership Agenda Summit. Committed and hungry change seekers gather to learn, to connect, and to collaborate on solving some of the world's biggest issues, beginning with the local environment to continental level and, of course, global level. Now, in November 2021, we're going to be in Pretoria, South Africa for the 2021 edition, in-person edition of Leadership Agenda Summit. And I'm calling on you to be a part of this movement, to redefine the philosophy of leadership in the world. So people must understand that while those in high office must do what they must do, it is ultimately the choices and the decisions of individuals to make a difference in society that determines the outcomes we have as a people. So I'm calling on you to be a part of the movement to set a new philosophy of leadership in the world as we gather in Pretoria in November 2021. And I'm calling on you to be a part of this, whether as an individual, as a corporate organization, or as a government. You have details on the screen right now that can help you contact us, because until we rise up as a people and make decisions as a people to change the narrative of our society, our world will continue to spiral out of control. We have the power within us to make a difference. We can make a difference when we try. I'm calling on you to join us. Be a part of change. Be a part of the movement to transform the world and bring in a new day. Join us in Pretoria, South Africa, by 2021, and be a part of the solution of the world.
Hello.
Hi.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Yeah, doing very fine, sir.
Praise God.
It's good to be with you once again, sir.
My pleasure.
Yes, sir. Okay, good. Greetings to everybody who is joining in. Good afternoon. It's afternoon here, Lagos, Nigeria. Good morning, good evening, wherever you are watching us from. We're so glad you are a part of this session this afternoon. So I want to welcome you to this panel session. My name is Ademola Adeshola, and I am a marketing communications professional. And it's a pleasure that I will be moderating this session this afternoon. And I really, really want to enjoin you to go along with us. So I would really like to appreciate the founder of Brian Ruben organization, Dr. Brian Ruben, for the vision and the effort to ensuring that the leadership landscape in Africa improves. And the essence of that is this conference that we are having today, the Leadership Summit 2021. And I really want to appreciate you, sir, for the effort so far. I also want to appreciate distinguished panelists for this afternoon. I want to thank you for investing your time in this session this afternoon. We are very, very grateful for that. So without much ado, I would quickly introduce our panelists. In no particular order, I would call the names and introduce and read out the profile as soon as possible. And today we will be having Mazi Sam Ohuabunwa. Over time I've taken time to learn that name. So we'll be having Mazi Sam Ohuabunwa, and we'll be having Chris Akor, and also to the best of my understanding, Dan McKorley should be on this call as well, but I would confirm that as soon as possible. Like I said, without any particular order, I would read out the profile of our panelists, and I will start with the profile of Mazi Sam Ohuabunwa. Mazi Samuel Yichuku Ohuabunwa was born on the 16th of August, 1950. Married to Lady Stella Omude Ohuabunwa, blessed with children and grandchildren, has been honored severally by his community, profession, and industry. But significantly, he has been honored thrice by the nation. Member of the Order of Niger in 2001, and Officer of the Order of the Federal Republic in 2011, and National Productivity Order of Merit Award in 2018. Mazi Samuel Ohuabunwa is a proven leader, lay minister, social worker, entrepreneur, nation builder, columnist in national dailies, and author, and all rolled into one, and he credits all his success to the grace of God. Mazi Sam read pharmacy at the University of Ife, now OAU, graduating in 1976. He did postgraduate training in business and organizational management at the Columbia University, USA, and the Lagos Business School, Lagos. He is a recipient of an honorary degree of Doctor of Business Administration from Gregory University, Uturu. He joined Pfizer Products PLC in 1978 as a pharmaceutical sales representative and rose to become the chairman CEO in 1993. In 1997, Mazi Sam Ohuabunwa led the management buyover of Pfizer shares in Pfizer Product PLC, transforming the resultant company into Nament International Pharmaceuticals PLC, into a medium-sized Nigerian R&D-based pharmaceutical company. He voluntarily retired from the company after 33 years service in the industry, 18 years of which were at CEO level. Mazi Ohuabunwa is a fellow of the several professional organizations, the most prominent being the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, the Nigerian Academy of Pharmacy, the West African Postgraduate College of Pharmacists, the Nigerian Institute of Management, the National Institute of Marketing of Nigeria, the Nigerian Institution of Public Relations, the Institute of Management Consultants, and the Association of Corporate Governance Professionals in Nigeria. Mazi Sam is the president of the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria and the Association of Corporate Governance Professionals of Nigeria, a past chairman, Nigerian Economic Summit Group, past president, Nigerian Employers Consultative Association, past chairman, Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, Ikeja, and once national president of the Nigerian American Chamber of Commerce, and the chairman of the organized private sector. Mazi Sam founded the Sam Ohuabunwa Foundation for Economic Empowerment in 2009, serves as the managing consultant of Starting Consult, chairman of the African Center for Business Development, Strategy and Innovation, and serves on the board of several other organizations for profit and not for profit, public and private. Presently as the chairman of the Abia State Public-Private Partnership and Investment Promotions Governing Council and chairman of the Business and Investment Committee of Alaigbo Development Fund. He was a member of the Presidential Advisory Council and served as a member of the Presidential Committee on Subsidy, Reinvestment and Empowerment Program. Sam Ohuabunwa is a Christian, a Knight of St. Christopher of the Anglican Communion, and serves as the National Coordinator, Strategic Operations of the Full Gospel Businessmen's Fellowship International, Nigeria, and the Chairman Emeritus, Board of Trustees, Gregory University, Uturu. You are welcome, sir. Thank you for investing your time with us today, sir.
Thank you very much for your generous introduction. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Straight to Chris Akor. Chris Akor holds a first-class degree in political science from the University of Ibadan and has a master's and a master's in African studies from Oxford University. He has worked in various research, knowledge, and media roles in the past 10 years. The last of such roles was an opinion editor and acting chairman, editorial board of Business Day, Nigeria. He is also a political analyst and a weekly columnist in Business Day, where he discusses Nigeria and African political, social, and economic situations. His academic research interests range from African political economy, civil society, social movement, and social formations to the role of his business in shaping the future of Africa. Thank you so much, Mr. Chris Akor. You are welcome today, and thank you for investing your time with us today.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, very good. We will quickly go straight into the business of today, and the conversations borders around global leadership challenge. Where does Africa and Africans fit into this whole thing? It is incumbent upon us as a collective to harness the global mindset in order to navigate collaborative efforts of various stakeholders through varying levels of complexities, towards a vision of economic growth and global stability. Africa, as a member of the international community, has a role to play, obviously, but is Africa, performing up to expectation? Are we performing up to the potential that we have? And I hope these are the questions we would answer and, be able to provide a direction and the things we would build on going forward from now. And I would briefly go straight to Mazi. I'm sorry, sir, Mazi. I've developed an habit of just retaining the Mazi word rather than taking the old name, so that I don't keep mispronouncing the name, sir. I hope that's okay, sir.
Yeah, that's fine. No problem.
All right, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Sir, and I'll start with you, sir. I really would want to get your perspective on the concept of global leadership. I mean, I took time to to take a study of it, and it's such an impressive thing and a very important topic to discuss, considering the situation and the place we are in the world now, in the global, issues going around the world, and even in Africa, a whole lot of things going on. So I want to get your perspective, sir. What do you say is the concept of global leadership and the relevance to Africa? Over to you, sir. Mazi.
Well, thank you. Let me greet Chris. Chris used to be my boss when I used to send my weekly article.
Interesting.
So he used to be my editor. So I submitted my weekly columns to him.
I can imagine.
Yeah. So I believe that the thing is that the world is operating with the global concepts. Sometimes we say that technology has made us, brought us into a global village, which has so much benefit. But the point in being a global village is that nobody hands you a sausage. You have to bring something to the table to be able to take away something from the table. And today, Africa has not shown that global competitiveness, that global aggression, and the global ability to effectively bring its own share and take its own appropriate portion. Africa is mostly on the receiving side, carrying a ball and demanding and expecting favors and concessions from the world. It's not bringing enough onto the global table. So our leadership is uncompetitive. Our leadership challenges have been very well demonstrated. The deficit that we have demonstrated even in the management of COVID-19. In the paper I delivered just before now, I uncovered, I used that as a case study to show how uncompetitive we are globally, how we are so dependent on the rest of the world to lead us in developing the kits, in developing the therapeutics, in developing the vaccines, in planning the distribution. So the concept of global leadership is that it forces nations to try and wake up. It forces nations to be competitive and be able to subject itself to peer pressure and peer measurement. However, the truth of the matter today is that many of our leaders are still myopic. They are still pedestrian. They are unable to see beyond their noses. They are not visionary. They are not competitive. They are not able to stand on an equitable ground, on a competitive ground in the global space. So what happens is that Africa is receiving the short end of the stick, and we have become very much susceptible to what the rest of the world wants us to do, not exactly what we would like to do because of our level of uncompetitiveness, level of unpreparedness, lack of appropriate vision, and even proper alignment with best global practices.
Amazing. Thank you so much, sir, for that. I remember when the COVID-19 issue started, and at the point where there was no vaccine. It was on me, and I was like, it would be nice if Nigeria as a nation, could take the lead and be the one to provide, the vaccine for the world. And I asked myself that, imagine if the entire world depended on Nigeria as a nation to provide the vaccine. It means that we probably would all go to dead. We all be dead, without any solution. And it's so disappointing. And I thank you, sir, for that perspective. And I'll quickly come back to you, Mr. Chris Akor. Mazi had talked about a lot of things, and lot of things of how, how susceptible we are, and the whole lot of things. And I want to hear from you, sir. What do you make of this point? I mean, his viewpoint, and how do you express that in your own perspective as regards global leadership?
Okay, thank you so much for having me. As Mazi has said, he was an explosive columnist with the Business Day until he got frustrated with the Nigerian situation and took a break. Anyhow, so global leadership, as we know, Africa doesn't feature really much in terms of leadership globally. We're just a receiving continent. And instead of focusing on definitions, really, I'd like to go to the reasons why. You see, there is a common denominator that runs across Africa.
Yeah.
So Africa came late to the development of Africa. Is a young continent, so to speak, in terms of internationalization, so to speak. Where, of course, most of Africa was under colonization until the late 50s and early 60s before we became independent countries. So that was when we truly joined the Committee of Nations as equals, so to speak. So we have been tutored by European powers all this while. And they've had a history of developing leadership. And this history has spanned thousands of years. And what the wisdom, the learning from this history is that individuals do not guarantee sustainable societies. What guarantees sustainable societies are institutions. So they've taken time over hundreds of years to build institutions, strong institutions, so that right now we have very strong institutions in the UK, in France, in the US. I mean, you look at the last year's election, despite all the efforts that Donald Trump invested in trying to rig the system, he could not succeed in moving a needle. And he was frustrated out because the US institutions are very strong to withstand any bad leader. You know, they are built to outlast individuals. So that is the power of institutions. You know, and in the UK, for instance, Boris Johnson, when he became prime minister, he said over his dead body will he ask the EU for extension of negotiation to leave the EU. But the moment the courts ruled, the moment the parliament spoke, he had no option. He had to write the letter. So it wasn't about him, it's about the institutions. So institutions, they guide, they constrain leaders, and they make them to behave in a particular way that is not injurious to the society. So that even if you have a bad leader, he would not do so much damage to the society.
Interesting.
So what do we have in Africa? So we've refused to learn any of this. Africa continues to depend on strong men. I mean, European history, American history, world history has been replete with strong men trying to govern, but the leadership of strong men don't guarantee anything. It destroys society. It is capricious. It's not. It doesn't last long. It withers away with time, and is subject to the whims and caprices of an individual. It doesn't last. It doesn't guarantee sustainable development in a society. What guarantees sustainable development in a society is institutions. Now,
I like to interject
that
there.
gained independence. They tried to build sustainable. Yes.
Okay, so sorry, let me just interject there. I mean, you've made a very, very valid point, and when you talked about the power of institutions, and I really would like to get to know more about, the concept of institution. As you have seen it, what really is an institution? What makes an institution? Give us example of an institution as you have referenced that ensures that a society is built to last.
Great. Institutions are just simply rules that governs society. That's the most basic definitions of institutions. They are rules governing a society, how the society operates. So most people say the rule book of a society is usually its constitutions. But there are rules laid down on exactly how the society should be administered, irrespective of whoever finds himself in position of authority. In the US, we have the Constitution. In fact, in every country, well, except monarchies that are usually based on traditions, there are constitutions that govern exactly how things should be done. Now, in those societies with constitutions, we have people respecting those constitutions, and we have institutions set up to ensure that the spirit and letter of the constitutions are respected and are not violated in any way or form. But in Africa, we have constitutions in papers alone. Nobody respects those constitutions. Nobody governs by the dictates of those constitutions. It is by personal whims and caprices. And that is a major problem of Africa. That Africa continues to depend on strong men rather than institutions. And even in our discourse in Nigeria, we always pay attention to who is the leader, what can he do. We forget about the institutions, such that in Nigeria right now, there is no institution that works. Is it the executive? Is it the judiciary? Is it the legislature? Is it the central bank? All those institutions set up by law, none of them work. Absolutely none. Zero. None of them work. None. So it is not a surprise that Nigeria is in the kind of turmoil it is, because we have decided we're not going to work by institutions, but by personalities. And so anybody who comes in, they abuse law, they trample on laws, they do whatever they want, and we're not able to do anything. So the solution to African challenges and to be able to improve good leadership in Africa, we have to build strong institutions that will withstand individuals, that would resist pressures of individual leaders. Put by bad leaders. Exactly. Fantastic. So it is about building strong institutions. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Akor. It's very strong points there. And you've really, as a matter of fact, I'm quite enlightened by that. And I'll come back to you now, Sir Mazi. Are you there, sir? Your mic is muted, sir. Okay, good. Yes. So, looking at it, sir, there must be a role for Africa. Looking at Africa as a member of the international community, sir, what do you think is the role Africa should be playing right now?
Well, our role is cut out for us. The role we should be playing we should play as an equal member of the global community. We should play as a valuable member of the global community. So the first thing is that we should wean ourselves from the mentality of depending on aid, depending on help, depending on support all the time. China will support us. America will support us. UK will support us. Everybody is supporting Africa. Aid to Africa. In fact, in many African countries, if you take away global aid from Melinda Gates or Melinda Gates and her husband, you take away things from WHO, USAID, Oxford University, Cambridge University, you will be surprised that there will be no program going on in our healthcare. Most of the healthcare programs fight against malaria, HIV/AIDS, all are by donation. And I'm asking, where is our own budgeted money for healthcare, for example? So my point is that Africa needs to grow up to take our position in an equitable manner. But we cannot grow up if we do not have the right leadership orientation. If we have leaders that are not properly educated, they are not competent, they don't have good character, they don't have courage, they can't stand up to their convictions, they are not democratically elected, so they just know that they are there, they came to office by either force or by maneuver, so they don't even have the moral right to even stand up as leaders. So we need to grow up, and in growing up, we need to be sure that our leadership selection or election method is such that we throw up the right caliber of leadership. My friend, the major problem with Africa is poor leadership, poor political leadership. And in the places where good leadership has manifested, you can see it like in Rwanda, you can see like in Ghana, you can see things are changing in Rwanda, things are changing in Ghana and a few other African countries. It's directly related to the quality of leadership. Rwanda is attracting investment. Ghana is attracting investment. International conferences are being held in Rwanda. They are being held in Ghana. How many conferences are being held in Nigeria? You know, or how many people are bringing their capital? Twitter just took their African office to Ghana recently. I think it's in the media. So we must have competent leadership that understands how the world operates, leadership that can will not have any complex in discussing with Joe Biden, in discussing with Putin, in discussing with all the other leaders of the world. So that is, Africa must look for leadership that is contemporary, leadership that is competent, leadership that is educated, leadership that is visionary, leadership that understands how the world operates. So that's the first challenge, because if you give a man, an incompetent man, a job, he will look well, he will probably not have the confidence to come and compete with his fellows. So he will either avoid or send delegates or find an excuse not to participate. So I'm just saying that our first job is to create the proper leadership cadre that can come to the global stage and then can merit their space and can defend Africa.
Amazing, sir.
That's the critical one. Number two,
okay,
is, of course, even if you have the competent leadership as I've just described, which is primary,
yes,
we must also have a leadership that is visionary. Visionary in terms of trying to move Africa from its current doldrums, from its level of underdevelopment and subdevelopment, from its level of poor quality of life, low life expectation, high infant mortality, high maternal mortality, low quality of life. Everything you look at when you look at the global indices, Human Development Index,
Yes.
Transparency Index, Corruption Index, Africa is on the bottom. Just check which countries are the end. They must be
Mm.
African countries.
Mm.
So
I see.
and nobody, they don't seem to see people angry enough, leadership
Yeah.
angry enough to say we will not be here again. So we need to have leaders that are visionary and also ambitious to be able to move their nations from where they are. Because if you don't set ambitious goals or visions, you will
Mm.
allow the law of gravity to deal with you. You allow, so you follow the least line of resistance. We have
Yeah.
tried, so we
Yeah.
failed. And when they say you failed, they say we have tried. We have tried. What did you try? Yeah, and we
Mm.
give up. So those are two critical things I think Africa should be looking at: the
Yes.
model of leadership selection and election,
Mm-hmm.
the
Yes.
qualification, the minimum qualifications and criteria for assuming leadership, and that leadership to become visionary, ambitious, competitive, to be able to lift Africa from its current doldrum.
Thank you so much, sir. I mean, your point is in resonance with what Mr. Akor also said when he talked about building institutions. And I'll quickly come back to you, sir, to ask a follow-up question. Um, Using Nigeria as a context now, how do you think we can raise quality leaders? I mean, I know we have educational system, but even our educational system isn't something we can write home about. How do you think we can raise quality leaders?
Well, I mean, the way for now, because if we say let's go down to the ground zero, which is
Yes.
how they are trained, how they are groomed, and then how they are enthroned, trained, groomed, and enthroned. That is the process. The process
Mm.
is we must have a system that is merit driven.
Yes.
If you don't have a merit driven, they will not be properly thrown, they will not emerge. Because if your selection is based on other mundane considerations, the best will not emerge. So we must design a system that is merit driven. We must design a selection method that is evidence based. And then when we came to the point of selection, we must also look at the pedigree, the past. Where are the people coming from? What have they done before? What worked? What jobs have they held? How did they perform at those jobs? So if we don't look at your past performance, we may not be able to predict your future.
Mm.
In our system, people's eyes are closed and they go and vote people into office, driven by considerations like how much money did he bring, how much rice did he give us, or stockfish or salt, and so forth and so on. Is he from our town? Is he from our village? Is he the same religion? These are things we use, and then we put merit last.
Mm.
And guys, when you put merit last, how do you guys say it in your jargon? What's in, what's out? How do you say it?
Garbage in, garbage out.
Garbage in, garbage out. And you cannot give what you do not have. No
Absolutely.
matter how much
Absolutely.
I try, for now, I can't speak French. So if you take me to a French situation, I have to depend on somebody else to speak the French for me. Unless
Mm-hmm.
I have an interpreter. That's what I would do. I'll take an interpreter along. So when you speak French, I can interpret, it can interpret to me. That's where I can be on the same level with you. So we must intro merit. We will have to change our political education,
Mm.
of Nigerians and of Africans to put focus on a man's past when we're talking about honesty, integrity, we can get it from his past. Where did he work? What did he do? If you check us out, we all left something where we work. And from there, you can begin to form ideas of what we're going to do in the new places we are coming. So these are the methods I think we need to use to be sure that we get the right leadership that we want.
Thank you so very much, sir. I'll come to you now, Mr. Akor. I mean, Mazi talked extensively about the expectation or the expected role Africa should play, and he talked about equal membership in the international community. But you look at it, you look at what young Nigerians are doing in the area of technology. Don't you think that's one area we are adequately representing Africa?
Yes, we are representing Africa. Young Nigerians are trying to represent Africa, but that is because the leadership in the country has failed. Obviously, we have the second highest unemployment rate in the world. So the normal industries, the normal employment opportunities that are available are no longer available to the youth. So they have to create their own industries afresh, and that is why they have gone into technology, coding, programming, all those things, and they're trying to generate employment for themselves. I was discussing with a friend in Nigeria who was talking of exporting product to the US, physical products, and I told him, young man, look, for almost 50 years, Nigeria has failed to export anything tangible to the West because we can't even meet basic standards. The only export we have to export to the US and to the world is our skills. So instead of talking of physical products, my friend, go and learn a skill. That is the only way we can compete with these people now. And I am happy that a lot of young Africans, a lot of young Nigerians have learned to shift from they've moved away from what used to exist in Nigeria before and are building a new ecosystem to operate in, which is technology, other soft skills like writing, communication, and things like that. But still yet, despite these exports to the rest of the world, what is the fate of our home country? Nigeria has a lot of skilled people doing great exploits, young people doing a lot of exploits all over the world. But what remains the fate of our country? Was it Francis Fukuyama who said the highest level of civilization, human civilization, is the ability to create a capable state, to build a country where basic infrastructures work, where rule of law works, where there is security of life and property. So despite those skills, we have been unable to create that basic, that capable state at home. So eventually we will all come back to that same problem, which is institutions holding us down. We can have brilliant individuals, brilliant people as individuals, making exploits all around the world, but our country, our continent still remains ungovernable. It still remains in a state of anarchy. We cannot even live in our country. Most of us have been sent out on exile from our country. I'm sorry to tell you that I am on technical exile. And a lot of Nigerians I know, young Nigerians who are doing great things, but just because they found themselves having to demand for good leadership, have been sent packing from the country. So we cannot continue to, we're doing great things, I admit. We're all over the world, making names for ourselves. That is fantastic. What is the fate of our home country? The country keeps deteriorating by the day because no institution works. Absolutely none. Mazi was talking about creating leadership, creating good leadership. You cannot have good leadership, you cannot have visionary leadership where there are no institutions. Institutions are the bedrocks of society. They provide the basis on which a society can grow. How do you institute merit when there are no institutions? It just doesn't work. So you must have strong institutions that stipulates this is what must happen, this is what must happen. A society where everybody follows the law. If you don't follow the law, there are consequences, and if you break those laws, you accept the consequences that comes with it. It is only then that will create a basis for the society to begin to grow, to begin to put merit first. And when you have such societies, leaders naturally will begin to emerge, leaders with vision. Yeah, because before those leaders get to take on leadership roles, they would have to pass through the rudiments. They will have to pass through tests. And they would have to tell us exactly what their ideas are. And it's only when people accept those ideas as workable, as likable, that they elect them into positions of leadership. Elections that are not rigged, elections that closely aligns with the will of the people. And it is only then that we can begin to talk of good leadership, visionary leadership that would shape the future of the continent, that would harness the resources, the intent, the skills of Nigerians the world over to build an enviable and prosperous society at home. But without such institutions, we would all remain exiles. Young Nigerians Nigeria is the country that hemorrhages the most young people. All the skillful people in Nigeria are gone. Let me tell you one fact. I attended University of Ibadan. All the medical students who attended University of Ibadan with me, of course, with my set, I know most of them. There is not a single one of them still operating in Nigeria. All of them have left. Brilliant people. None, not a single one is in Nigeria currently. And it is a dream of every medical student now. You just go to school, the moment you finish, you leave. That's the thing.
Let me quickly cut you there and ask this question, a follow-up question to what you just, the very important remark you just made. The statistics of the number of people, number of talent that is being hemorrhaged from this country, is there a way that statistics is currently being used in a way that being used by the government to understand that there is a great loss in this country? Do you think our government is currently doing anything about it in order to avoid this type of hemorrhaging?
Absolutely not. If you listen to the president, when they ask him, people are leaving, what is his response? Let them go. That's the only response. Let them go. He doesn't understand anything. He's completely disconnected.
And that boils down
to reality.
Exactly. That boils down to to lack of leadership, quality leadership that we are talking about?
We don't have any. We don't. So there is no. We don't talk about leadership in Nigeria. It doesn't exist. That's the basics. It doesn't exist. We don't even have leadership. They don't even understand. In fact, and even if you talk to people like former Minister of Health and even the current Minister of Labor, is it Chris Ngugi, and all they see about losing our skilled people abroad is the dollars they send home. That's the only thing they think about, nothing more.
Oh, good.
So these are the quality of leaders we have. And when you have a country where nothing is, all institutions are dead, none works, that is exact result.
I mean, thank you so very much. I'll come back to you, Mazi, now. I was driving down Third Mainland Bridge yesterday or day before yesterday, and in a way, there was this. The traffic wasn't dense, wasn't that intense. It was just a smooth flowing traffic, and in a way, I felt some level of peace, driving through a Lagos road, and it reminded me instantly that is this what we currently experience in this country, in this entire country, in context of what is going on in our country, insecurity and all of these things. Don't you think, the leadership is failing? I mean, it's obvious, but what's your thought on this? Looking at what peace means to growth of a country and the and improvement of the life of the people.
Well, thank you, Ademola. Chris, just to inform you that I agree with you. We don't have leadership. This is why people like us are offering ourselves for leadership. I hope you are aware that I've thrown my hat into the ring because
I'm aware, sir.
That frustration, I've dealt with that frustration
yes.
for years, hoping that some people were going to provide the leadership to take our country out of the doldrum, to make us a globally competitive nation, to create a nation that works, where we value human resource, where we value human capital. I waited for 60-something years, and it has not happened. And so I've decided to throw my hat into the ring. So you better have hope.
Wow. Exactly.
No, that's
Thank you so much, sir.
I'm really happy to hear this.
Thank you, Chris. So you're going to come back. You're going to come back soon and join my efforts. Yeah. Now, for me, Ademola, what you experience is what they call the peace of the graveyard. If you walk into the graveyard, you feel it. The place is quiet, but there are bones of dead and there are spirits. There are both good and evil spirits around the place. So, but you look at it, it looks peaceful. That's what you've seen. Nigeria is currently getting out of our economy is taking a spin because economic growth is driven by the amount of economic intercourse, the velocity with which money travels, and with how you turn that money around. And that is reflected by the number of people you see on the road, the number of trucks you see on the road, the number of planes that are flying in the air, the number of buses on the road, the number of trains. When you travel where you say, I thought you said the place was so quiet, you didn't have to do anything, that is deceptive peace. The next thing is you run in, it's not a safe peace. Nigeria should be bustling with activity around the country. You can't, on a Wednesday, you find a place so peaceful, something is going wrong. People are not at work. People are not economically engaged. And any 1 hour, we do not have full economic engagement. We are losing productivity. We are losing income. We are losing wealth. And our country GDP is coming down and increasing poverty, because the higher the GDP, the bigger the per capita income and per capita GDP, and all that will reflect to a more robust economy. Nigeria is closest to a failed state. This morning, I held a press conference on the national security crisis. I just reflected what I had on Channels television last night. News number one. Another. Some people were killed in Zamfara. About 13 or some 30 people were killed. News number two. Some students were adopted from a private university in Kaduna. News number three. A military barracks in Niger State was overrun and burnt by is it bandits or hoodlums or
bandits was what they called them.
Is it IPOB
bandits?
Or they may have moved from Owerri to go to Bina or whatever to do it. And then you hear that new police posts were burnt in Enugu, and so forth. That's what you hear every day. You turn the news, you hear bad news. People are being killed, people are being murdered, people are being kidnapped. So the economy is going down. People are not willing to travel, so people are walking away. I didn't know that Chris has left the country, and so many other things like that. You know, the young people are leaving. The old people have resigned. Old people like me, many have resigned and gone to the village. They are enjoying some have gone to Dubai. Like somebody advised me and say, Mazi, don't waste your time on Nigeria. If you have small money, go to Dubai and buy. You have suffered for this country. Why are you doing this to yourself? You know, the people that are left in this country are the middle-aged, those who are still raising family. They can't leave, they can't stay. They are the people that have problems. But the young guys and smart people like Chris are gone. Many other people are leaving, you know. So this country is in big. That's why I called a press conference. You might be reading it in the media from this afternoon. And I said we should call a consultative assembly, a national consultative assembly of ethnic nationalities, of all the leaders of our country, traditional, business. Let's sit together and ask ourselves, where did we get it wrong? How can we salvage our situation? Employ more police, bring in more army, buy more weapons, buy more ammunition, creating more Amoteku, Ebubago, Hisba, whatever you know will not solve our problem. We are becoming a militarized nation.
Exactly.
Each other. So I'm begging that people should put their thinking at what is the cause of this situation.
Exactly.
Go to the root. It's a high feeling of injustice, inequity, and unfairness.
Exactly.
Second, it's a high level of unemployment and poverty. Unemployment and poverty cannot be dealt with in the short term. It requires a medium to longer term, a new economic order in the terms of what I have written, where everybody will be made to be gainfully engaged. But we can create peace by some bit of reconciliation and find out what is causing this problem amongst ourselves. That was my call to the nation. So leadership we don't need to ask. My Bible says when the righteous bear rule, the people rejoice.
Absolutely.
When the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. And for me, are we rejoicing? Are we mourning?
Thank you so very much, sir. Thank you. And I'll come to you, Dr. Brian Ruben. Thank you for joining us also. I mean, the Nigerian system as a case right now seems to show us that problems cannot be solved. It's looking like it that when there's a problem, you can't solve it, you know. And I know that on the other hand, problems exist because there's a solution. You understand? And every problem has a solution as long as you can sit down to think it through and provide that leadership. So in your experience and as a professional in leadership and as the convener of this conference, what do you see as a leadership step that we need to take as a people? One as a people, and two as the government, because we know that some people in government are currently listening to us. So what would you say that the necessary steps, from your own perspective and your experience, that we should take, as a people and as a government, so that we can have a better country and have the better state of well-being?
Sure, absolutely. Thank you for giving me the chance to speak. Mazi Sam, I'm so grateful you are here. I have been watching from the background. Chris, thank you so much for all of the amazing insights. Now, the thing is about leadership is that no human being needs the mission of another person to be human. A human is born a human. And the human builds capacity to function as a better human. Am I correct? Now,
Very correct.
in Nigeria and in Africa, this is really an African situation, not Nigeria. Of course, I know that the
Yes.
same kind of issues run across many African countries, but I want us to understand that this is beyond Nigeria to the whole of Africa. So, the thing is, in Nigeria or Africa as a continent, leadership has nothing really to do with number one position, and it has little or nothing to do also with location. In other words, if for some reasons you couldn't express your leadership living in Africa, and you happen to be like Chris, who permanently relocated to the United States, well, that doesn't mean that you cannot continue to lead. Leadership has nothing to do with position. Now, these are basic understanding that I would like to actually bring on the table because when we begin to look at leadership from the perspective of positions, political positions, we have problems. Those in high office must do what they have to do. But there is a responsibility that a person, just like you and I, must have to respond to. Because it is only when human beings like you and I take responsibility, whatever makes it possible for us to take that responsibility, whether it is relocating to the United Kingdom or relocating to Asia. But I think that the key word there is focus. It begins with fundamentally how we think about life. If we believe that solutions cannot be found, then we cannot find solutions. And if you believe that somebody else must go out and solve the problem, then now we have difficult, complex, and wicked problems today in Africa and around the world. Many of the problems we have are not gonna, I mean, the solutions are not gonna come down easy because in Africa we have an environment that is generally not supportive. A place like Nigeria, for example. You have all of the issues with policy, all of the issues with culture, and all of the issues with how we live our lives as a people. But like I said, human beings don't need permission from anybody to be human. You were born in to develop yourself. In the same way, every one of us have the responsibility of beginning to take the search for solutions personally. The solution is, based on your capabilities, based on the resources at your disposal. If we wait for the government of African nations to provide the support, we may never do anything. So somebody like Mazi Sam has offered himself to run for a high position of leadership in Nigeria. And he's making that move currently because of his capacity, his assets, his resources, his relationships. I may not run for Nigeria's president right now, all right? And that could be for a number of reasons. But it doesn't mean that I cannot lead. I can lead from here. As I know, like many Nigerians and many Africans, Ghanaians, all the people are looking for what they call greener pastures. So they want to leave and relocate to the UK or the United States because the policies, the culture, the environment seems to make it a little more easier for people to be successful. But the truth of the matter is that this is what happens when people begin to abandon their responsibility. For some reasons, you were born in Africa. So Africa belongs to us. How this country comes out eventually is our responsibility. And while I would want the best for myself, see, if I want to think like everyone else, I'll permanently relocate to the UK with my family. But irrespective of where I am, the most important thing is understanding the responsibility of leadership. I don't necessarily even need to be in Africa to lead in Africa because the world has some of become a global village. So the thing is about focus, all right? It's about not waiting for that person to do the job. Because you see, Nigerian leaders, the leaders of Ghana or wherever, Nigerian leaders cannot come from Asia. They can come from America. They are Nigerians. And it is the culture, the ideology, the lifestyle of the people, the character of the people that we eventually see in leadership. Now, of course, if those who have a better understanding decide to exit the continent and say there is no leadership, nothing will change. So somebody has to step up to do something. A time came in the Bible when the whole of Israel army, went hiding in fear of a man called Goliath. It took a man to see that as a national embarrassment and take up the step to bring solution. And they got solution. So
Thank
we
you.
need to have this perspective that we have a responsibility. Oh, okay, you're trying to say something.
No, I wanted to move to Mr. Chris Akor to put out a layered question. I haven't heard your point, the emphasis you've made on leadership, and I wanted to go to Mr. Akor, but I'll just let you conclude on the points you're making, sir.
Yes. So what I'm saying is that leadership is a responsibility, and we must find ways to fulfill that responsibility. It's not always going to be easy because at the stage where we are as a continent, a lot of things are out of shape.
Absolutely. I mean,
I understand that nobody else will fix it except if we don't want the continent to exist again. But we must remember there are the weak whom the strong must protect. And it is unconscionable for us to leave the weak and the vulnerable because we can take care of ourselves. That's terrible. So it's not going to be easy, but we must do something about it. Whether or not the government supports it, there must be a way. First of all, there has to be a will, focus. And then we seek for collaboration among people of like minds, irrespective of where we, for example, Chris is in the US, which is a part of this conversation today. And many people in Africa are going to watch it. KDN TV in South Africa is going to carry life eventually, egg eventually, and it will reach millions. Do you realize the inspiration it can bring to somebody? So this, what we are doing right here is also the contribution to leadership. We have to understand it.
exactly.
So these are a few submissions I wanted to make.
Thank you so much, Dr. Brian. Thank you so much. And I would move a little bit, from our local context here to see how, the relevance we're making as Africans in the global landscape. And I want to quickly, let Mr. Chris speak on this share his point of view on this also. And talking about, I mean, I apparently pay for my cable subscription because I want to watch football. Now, the football I watch, which is the English Premiership, and I sat down one day and I'm like, wait, this is a country selling their products to me, and I would leave everything to focus on it on weekends, and it gives me so much satisfaction and excitement. And I mean, I don't want to talk about our local league now. I mean, that's not the point, But the point I'm driving at is that England has, in a very subtle way, and also other developed countries and economies, in a very subtle way, have sold their what I call brand, the nation brands, and to us. And today, we are living and consuming these brands in such a amazing rate and way, and we seem to rely on it. And I want to ask, in your perspective, what do you think we are doing with music? How do you think we are harnessing the power in music? Burna Boy recently won Grammy. Burna Boy is resident in Africa, in Nigeria, and he won Grammy. And it was a depiction of the fact that everything is possible right from our homeland. How can we harness the power our entertainment has? How can we harness it, in order to build our economy, build our reputation, and be able to find a place in the international community? Over to you, Mr. Chris Akor.
Thank you so much. Before I respond, I just want to tell Dr. Ruben.
Yes.
You see, even Jesus, he went on exile when the situation was so hot in his home country. He went on exile, even though he was to come back to liberate his people. But first of all, he had to go on exile so sometimes remaining alive is the first responsibility towards transforming the society. Anyhow, now back to your question. Clearly, Nigeria is a cultural powerhouse of Africa. There is no doubt about it. You talk about the skills, we have the skills in abundance. And you can see even in Nollywood, in music, without any government intervention at all, you can see the great strides individually we are making. So the raw materials for success are abundant in Nigeria. That's given. So what we have to do, so the only thing we need to do is a little retweaking of our politics to help us to build a global cultural brand. And that is why I am so happy to hear that people like Mazi Ohuabunwa are throwing their hearts into the ring. And that is why it is beholding on all of us to support such endeavors with whatever way we can. And then to actually encourage Mazi to be very, very aggressive. Forget about the methods for now. Don't have to be very aggressive. The goal is to actually put in people there who will transform the leadership of this country, who will begin to lay solid foundation for the building of whole institutions. If we can get people like that into positions of authority, Nigeria has the chance to be great again. I have studied Mazi's life. I have studied most of the things he does. I've listened to or I have read the way he writes. I've connected with his passion. He's someone who desperately wants to see a better country, who wants to bequeath a better country than he inherited to the next generation. But sadly, it seems the country his parents bequeathed to him is far better than the one he's going to give to his children, to the next generation. The passion is there. He's not going into this thing for any material purpose. There is nothing he's going to gain from it anymore. He's doing it for the next generation. And if there is any way Nigerians both at home in diaspora can really rally behind him to support people like him to get into positions of authority, then we have a chance. We have we have all it takes. We have the raw materials. We have we have the resources at home.
Pardon me, let me cut you there, Mr. Chris Akor. Right. It seems Mazi want to take a leave, and I don't know. You are suited, and I like to hear what is going on, sir. If you would need
I'm
to...
relocating. I'm moving from where I am to another location because I have another meeting, but I'm still online.
Okay, sir.
So I'm relocating from where I am to start moving near my next destination. But I'm online.
Okay, that's interesting. And as a matter of fact, we are concluding now. We have about less than 5 minutes to get done on this panel. Yes. So on that note, I want just one more thing to talk about, and that's the pain and the problem of poverty. And poverty in Nigeria and in Africa, I mean, they say that Nigeria seems to be the poverty capital of the world, and other African countries are also, playing well adequately in that space. And poverty seems to be something natural, natural thing in this part of the world, and not something you need to, that when you make a living, when you offer value, the reward that comes to you helps you get out of poverty. That's how it should be. But people seem to be in poverty here perpetually, and they seem not to be able to find their way around it. I just want you to say one or two things about the concept of it and how we can easily just get out of it and have a better country, better well-being for our people.
Yes, thank you. So you see, the issue of poverty is such that it's an issue that the government alone cannot solve. In fact, the government cannot solve. And if there is anything we have learned from the US, from Russia, from China, that if the government continues to maintain the commanding heights of the society, the issue of poverty will continue to remain. And then, so you need private sector investments to create massive jobs for people. How do you have private sector investment? There must be good governance. Institutions must be working. That is the only way you encourage people to bring in their money to invest, to create jobs. So our problem is a problem of lack of jobs. So that's the first reason for poverty, unemployment.
Okay, thank you for that. Thank you for that point. I want Mazi to also conclude on that, to give us a parting word on that. Yes, sir. Mazi, sir, I want your perspective on concept of poverty and how you think we can get out of it. I mean, and in view of the fact that you are now running for an office, what do you think you will be able to do to help us get out of poverty?
Poverty, as you well know, is there was food for 12 children. Then that same food is now shared by 20 children. It means that all the children have become poorer. Even if the quantity remains the same, but what each person gets, instead of 1/12, you are getting 1/20. Nigeria has been growing population, but our output has remained the same or declining. And that's why the poverty is increasing. So what do? Increase output and minimize population growth. Increase output, minimize population growth. So that is the equation. Output, higher output, lower population growth. Or even if population growth is retained, vastly increase your output and per capita income will increase, and therefore poverty will be halted. Now, we've talked about to increase capacity and how to increase our output. The major issue is to get everybody working. As Chris said, call it employment, call it jobs. The name of the game is let everybody be actively engaged. And what we intend to do is, first of all, to reorientate our education. Our education is going to be such that people are going to schools henceforth, from secondary school to university. You are going to school to do two things: First is to learn how to solve problems, and number two, to create wealth. Whether Ademola, you did philosophy or physiology or history or Christian religious knowledge, whatever you do, you come out of school prepared to do great business from your course or profession. Our plan is that we are going to make entrepreneurship compulsory course you must pass at school SAT level, and senior secondary school or WAEC. You must come out with a score in entrepreneurship, and at your final year in university, you must come out with entrepreneurship pass, and you're going to come out with your business plan. 1 or 2 business plans you must come out. It's a requirement. It's like you must do your thesis to get
Yes.
a degree. You must come out with a business plan. That is the new training. And when you come out with your business plan, through the auspices of Small Business Authority, which will set up in each local government, we will assist you to do a feasibility of the most marketable business plan. And if the feasibility works well, then we will create opportunities to lead you to a financing organization or financing unit at your local, sub-national, or national level to give you resources. We are not going to allow people to be running from pillar to post looking for who will assist them in business when government is there. Government is the owner of the land, is the owner of all the resources in the country, and then it's allowing its citizens to act as if they were helpless, nobody to support them. In the new Nigeria we are going, if we see that you have a potential to do business, we are going to have business extension workers. Like you have agricultural extension workers. They will come to your company, your business, your location to say, how do we help you? Are you looking for a loan? Are you looking for C of O? Are you looking for permit? Are you looking for grants? People will come to you as agricultural extension workers, go to those doing agriculture and say, how can we help you with seeds? Or how can we help you with fertilizer? And so forth and so on. We are going to focus on creating businesses and getting people working. It is through these businesses employment will come. Government is not going to employ nobody. We are going to reduce the number of people in government employment and push them to the private sector to start creating wealth. So I can take you on the whole, but rest assured that one of the things I want to approve, I'm not an economist by training, but I know that they said you can never have full employment. We're going to test it in Nigeria. We're going to have full employment. The only people who will be working are those who are retired and who don't want to do another work, those who are sick, those who are incapable, those who are mentally disabled, those who can't work. But in the Nigeria that we're looking at, everybody will be working. Who is able to work, who is at the working age. Even those in school will be working while they are in school. That's where they train people in America. You work while working while in school. Okay. I hope you have not lost you.
I'm still here. I'm still here.
Okay,
Can
so that's what
you?
I'm saying.
Okay.
That's what I'm
Thank
saying.
you.
That
Yes.
our challenge, because we know that poverty is the one that is driving most of our problem. Our problem is largely economic. Of course, it snowballs into political, religious, what have you. But if we
Yes.
solve our
Exactly.
economic problem, we have solved
Yes.
our nation. If we solve poverty, we have largely solved corruption.
Yes.
75 to 80% of corruption is related to poverty. Corruption at the different levels that you see them, which sometimes people do not know they are corrupt anymore. We're going to look for opportunities to make you, if you have a piece of land in your village, in your anywhere, government will try and put a paper, give you a paper to show that you have this land, so you can use that paper to go and look for money. It's not only land in the street, in the major cities that will have government C of O.
Yeah.
We will make sure that
Yes.
we spread out to the rural areas and villages so that people can also use their land to get money to do business.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. And we have come to the end of this session, and it's been a privilege for me to have anchored this session, sir. Mazi, I'm rooting for you. I'm supporting you full, just as Mr. Chris said. We are looking forward to have people like you to lead us, people who have demonstrated that capacity for leadership, and we are deeply, deeply, looking forward to it. And Mr. Chris Akor, I want to thank you once again for investing your time here with us. I don't know if you are still online, but thank you so much for investing your time. And I'll just quickly run through a summary of one of the few things we've mentioned this afternoon to just refresh our minds. We started by, understanding what what's it called? Global leadership means exactly, and we realized that Africa has not contributed enough, and it was an emphasis you made, sir Mazi, and you talked about your competitiveness, that we have been, the leadership is myopic and the rest of that. And Mr. Chris also talked about how we are late to the development table, and he also emphasized that individuals can't guarantee development of the society, it is the institution. And he also talked about how institutions are created, and a whole lot of points were made. My whole notes is filled up here, and I thank you so much, sir, for what the insights and your time, sir. If you don't mind, I will just ask you for the last parting word, and I will bring this to a close. To you, sir Mazi.
Yeah.
Final word, sir.
Yeah. Okay, my final word is that I thank you guys. I thank Chris for what he said about me. I didn't know he knew so much about me that much to. I was pleasantly surprised that he could say such things. So I thank God. If there are a few more people like that, then our journey to the presidency is going to be smoother than we thought. But my point is that going from even what he said, what Ruben said, Brad said, leadership is situational, and leadership it's something that everybody every once in a while has an opportunity to display. And I think for us in Africa, while we complain about our leaders and their poor leadership quality, I think we should rise up wherever we are located to assume leadership. We should not wait for it to be thrust upon us or people to invite us, or let us aim at exercising those leadership potentials that we have at a different level. Because at the end of the day, that what will make the system work, not just one leader, but that every Nigerian. When I employ people in my company, I tell them that I like them to be entrepreneurs or intrapreneurs in my business, so that we can all be entrepreneurs. We can then understand the language of an entrepreneur. So if Nigeria is made up of a lot of leaders at every local school level, commercial level, business level, professional level, military security level, we have real leaders. Leadership is not title. Leadership is influence. It's ability to deliver on predetermined objectives, ability to lead a people, a group, a company to its manifest destiny. That's leadership. Move them in the right direction where they want to go and what they want to accomplish. The man who influences them to do so is a leader. And I wish that many more leaders will emerge, and we can take our country and Africa to its manifest destiny and stop being the whipping boy or the whipping continent, or the continent that everybody's beating. The continent, when COVID came, they said Africa is finished. But thank God that God intervened on our behalf, would have been finished. So that's what I think we're doing. Thank you, Ademola. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Ruben. God bless you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. And Mr. Chris Akor, your final word, please.
Yeah, I would like to encourage us to not just build ourselves individually, take responsibilities to make a success out of our lives, but also to have a mind for the society where we come from. We can never be truly free if we do not have a prosperous society from where we come from. Let's make our country, let's have a mind towards our country, and whenever we have chance, we should look back and do everything we can to ensure that we're able to produce good leaders that will transform the entire society, so that we can look back at our society with pride, and say, indeed, Africans are not really as terrible as we portrayed.
Mhm.
That we can actually make our country work.
Thank you so much. I mean, I must admit that I've been encouraged. I've been encouraged, by these words from great men like you, and we want to thank you for your time, as said. Thank you so much, everyone who's joined us on this journey. This will come to an end now, and I hope that we will see once again. And I also want like to encourage you that just as these great men have said, go ahead and make some great impact in your own community, in your own network. And all of these impacts will now culminate to create that Africa that we want. And that's how we can have, play our role and become, respected in the global landscape. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Brian, for the opportunity that you've given me to moderate this session. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.
Our world has become way too complex. And the complexity of our world has also been complicated by some wicked problems. But in the midst of all of this, we must realize that all of the issues that we face, from terrorism to pandemics to climatic issues and political issues, are all consequences of our choices and decisions, both as a people and a society. And the truth is, the problem in every generation belongs to people in that generation. And the world only moves forward as individuals rise up to take responsibility for the problems they meet in society. Now, this is what we do at every Session Leadership Agenda Summit. Committed and hungry change seekers gather to learn, to connect, and to collaborate on solving some of the world's biggest issues, beginning with the local environment to continental level and of course global level. Now, in November 2021, we're going to be in Pretoria, South Africa for the 2021 edition, in-person edition of Leadership Agenda Summit. And I'm calling on you to be a part of this movement, to redefine the philosophy of leadership in the world. So people must understand that while those in high office must do what they must do, it is ultimately the choices and the decisions of individuals to make a difference in society that determines the outcomes we have as a people. So I'm calling on you to be a part of the movement to set a new philosophy of leadership in the world as we gather in Pretoria in November 2021. And I'm calling on you to be a part of this, whether as an individual, as a corporate organization, or as a government. You have details on the screen right now that can help you contact us, because until we rise up as a people and make decisions as a people to change the narrative of our society, our world will continue to spiral out of control. We have the power within us to make a difference. We can make a difference when we try. I'm calling on you to join us. Be a part of change. Be a part of the movement to transform the world and bring in a new day. Join us in Pretoria, South Africa, by November 2021, and be a part of the solution of the world.